think we are set up. We're not getting what I want. But that's okay. There's no way around it. I can't get it to work the way I wanted. I'm going to have to play with it some other time. Luigi, watch your tail.
Can't you plunge your puns?
So it's just not going to work. It's really frustrating, but I'm trying to be okay with it because there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not sure why I can't get things the way I want. I've never had an issue before, and all of a sudden today it won't do window capture no matter what. So I can't capture and display half of the stuff I wanted to show on sigils.
Oh.
So it's going to be a very non-fun for me, that part. Like, what's going on here? Not, electronics are not my friend today.
Faye, what are you doing?
Right?
What are you doing, Faye? What is this?
So I don't know if you guys can hear me because I can't see anything because none of my stuff is actually turning on or working at the moment. Interesting. Okay, so maybe this is finally dead. Fun time. So I can't. Hopefully you guys can hear us. I can't see anything. My iPad won't cut on.
Oh wow. Is it dead?
I don't know. But that also means that the music is going to have to stop because I have nothing to see or chat with. So as you guys can tell, this morning's not going the way it's supposed to for us.
Well.
Interesting.
What a freaking week.
Yeah.
Hey, Kayla. Hey.
Morning.
Hey,
All right.
Violet.
I know everybody can hear, but I can't. I can finally see chat again, but our normal stuff just isn't working. So
There's some sprites. Some sprightly
There's something.
spirits among us.
the way that things have been going lately, just for stuff in general, is really just I am over all of it right now. I had a lot of really cool stuff to show you guys on sigils today. I cannot show any of that because that's not working either. So we're going to be, we'll talk about it, but we're not going to actually get to help and show some of the samples on how to easily do that. So that's not going to happen. That makes me sad.
God, this week, so what did it started out like, was it Saturday or Sunday last week with the pipe bursting in the backyard?
Yeah, the pipe in the backyard burst. I mean, who knows how long.
And then Friday, our freaking water heater died. So I don't know what's going on this week. I hope you all have had a less eventful week than we have and a good weekend. Ooh, she said it's wet and windy. That's my kind of weather, Violet. Wet and windy. That's nice.
Well, iPad is dead. It won't even. I mean, it's been charging for a day, so it's gone. I'm gonna throw that in the trash. I'm tired of it.
Oh,
I will not do anything Apple. By the way, y'all, Apple is definitely not my friend.
not anymore.
Hasn't been. Overpriced, waste of money. Phones I like. Those seem to work okay.
I've had a fire week and freezing rocky, yeah. Woo. I'm glad you had a good week. Ooh, did you change your hair? Or is that just your profile pic? Whales. And I can't see because it's on the phone. Because
Yeah.
Kayla used to be aqua beautiful, but now she looks like she's crimson beautiful. But I can't tell. That might just be her picture.
So I'm lighting my charcoals.
Like for all the people that have manifested new jobs the past 2 or 3 weeks, Kayla and Paranormal, I hope they're going well and you're settling in. You really like them better than what you were doing. Oh, just a profile. Okay.
Fun times, fun times.
Ah. Green chlorine nymph.
Well, if you go faded out green chlorine nymph, just do a little sun in from the 1990s.
Yeah.
And go sit outside at the pool and let the bleach do the work.
It'll
chlorine,
turn it orange.
You'll get that nice straw glow.
I used to love sun in. I thought I was somebody and doing something with sun in.
You really did, didn't you? I bet.
I did. I thought I was it.
So, it has definitely been, things have been off. And I will tell you, for me, the fire energy it's literally been missing. Meaning, it's not showing up in readings. It's not showing up for me in things. So I know it's completely out of balance for me. It's completely messed up. So we're really going to have to work on that. Because, I can't go through another week like that. And I think it's going to be like that for me. I'm in Atlanta this week. Next week I'll be back in Philadelphia. And then who knows where I'll be after that.
Yeah, that's definitely you. I don't know how you do it. That's traveling is. Oh.
It'd be nice to come home to clean house once in a while. So we do have a lot of topics today, but I'm really sad that I don't get to push the big one. Because I have a couple of online resources that are very helpful with sigils. So I thought you guys would probably find those fun or interesting, and they're different. It was a topic last night I know we brought up because we were planning on talking about it today. So yeah, fun times. Morning, Dragon Dancer.
Good morning, Dragon.
I need to make a list of all the things I need to write on a piece of paper and burn. The broken pipe, the water heater. Work. The computer now. My iPad just died completely. Like, it's just done. Not died as in battery dead, as in it just doesn't work. And I can't figure out how to, and I don't even know if I can, convert my files from Apple files to PC files for our bills and stuff. So that's going to be a mess because my old MacBook is about dead. And student loans are getting ready to restart. Life is a lot, and yes, I will take some of that fire. I need to burn some things today. I think that's going to be a thing after the end. Every once in a while, things happen, and you notice trends and things that are going on in the world, and you make a decision to reintegrate that energy, and that is definitely fire for me right now. Oof. It's always fun. Again, I don't know how long that pipe was broken in the backyard either. I mean, it was probably 8 inches of water.
Oh, I hate to see the.
Well,
find out.
What worries me more is how much water was sitting on the fence posts, and if that washed out. But paranormal.
Hey,
welcome.
paranormal. I hope you are enjoying your job, paranormal.
How's it going?
Kayla's liking her. She said.
Ooh, I'm squeaky.
Mm-hmm.
Need to get some WD-40. Yes, welcome back to the Pagan Sunday service. Unfortunately, like I said, we're having lots of technical difficulties today, so hopefully none of those will actually affect just the overall conversation here. So yeah, this might be the impetus to do a couple of things that I want to do differently and revamp a few things. We use OBS to do our streaming here, and it's always been a perfect worker for me. It's never given me an issue, not once. Today, 15 minutes before we start, it's not wanting to work.
Yeah. And speaking of new jobs, I'm going to exit a little early today around 12:15 because I need to go do a drug test for a new job that's really an old job that I'm going back to. So a lot of changes in jobs with our group, which is a good thing. It's really good for me. I'm going back to a place where I did well and a great company before, and I had the opportunity to go back. So I'll be getting out of here and doing that drug test this morning.
Yeah, and my work is significantly changing. I just don't know how yet in the next couple of weeks. So
We should do a pull for work this week.
I think we will. That'll be fun.
See what's going on with our work. So and I actually want to talk about, or hear about rather. Hey, Beach. Beachy says good morning. The book.
She's yelling at Finn because he's taking her toy in front of her. And
the book you're reading, The Occult Sciences. I wanted to know, like, what you think about it. Because it looks like one I might want to read, so I have a goal here.
I'll just determine whether or not I'll let you read it.
You'll determine? All right. Who is it by?
So by Arthur Edward Waite. This is actually, it's a pretty good book. Like, I'm enjoying reading through it and having my own thoughts on it. I like to write a lot in the margins. There's lots of notes. And I'll show you guys the cover if you haven't seen it. But it is, what I like about it is it's presenting multiple different pieces. I'm currently reading in the white magic section, and then there's black magic. You know, we know how we feel about those terms, but that's what's in the book. This is an older book. You got necromancy, alchemy, the elixir of life, talismans, divination, the divining rod, astrology. So it's one of those Kabbalism mystics that kind of goes on a whole bunch of separate and additional topics. You know, and I like it because this is gentleman is late 1800s. This was composed, you know, in the early 1900s, and it's very it's some dogma to it. It's some Christian leanings and some other different kinds of things in it. But as I've said many times, just because I'm reading something or have something that I disagree with some of the things in it or they don't make sense to me, doesn't mean that they're invalid, and it also doesn't mean that they have to adjust my practice, but they will inform what I choose to do. I found it particularly interesting, the details about the elements. I have often heard about the sliffs, the salamanders, the undines, and the gnomes, or undines, but I've never read about them. And this book actually goes into quite a bit of detail.
Oh, yeah, you gotta let me read that, just even for that part.
Yeah, and so it really talks about what they are and why and how they came about and what their intelligences are. That's another thing I like. It refers to most entities as intelligences, kind of giving them a separate but similar kind of path or place. So very good book. I think it's just something really good to be informing to practice.
And what is it called again? By who?
I'm going to show it when we turn the video on, which should be shortly. Like I said, we're just working out some techno diffos. But it's The Occult Sciences is the name of the book. It is an all-black book by Arthur Edward Waite. Interestingly, you will recognize the name. Arthur Edward Waite is a very prominent occultist. I don't even know if that's what you would call him, but he's written a lot of books. Think Tarot. Waite.
Yeah,
Waite.
I had asked about that, and I don't remember if you ever answered or if I ever listened. If you did.
When did you ask it?
A couple times.
Today?
Last week. No. No.
So I am not 1,000% sure. Only what I've been told is that this is the same Waite from the writer Waite. I don't know how crystal clear that is. I do believe that is accurate, but I'm going to look it up to be sure. I just haven't yet. Because even though it makes sense and I trust my source, I'd like to see it myself to verify that that's the truth. And if somebody in chat knows for sure, like for sure, not just a guess, if you know that this is the same Waite, then that information would be appreciated. But I'll look it up and validate. So.
And I am still reading in between doing the shadow work, Beginning Luciferian Magic by Michael W. Ford. And it's good. I mean, it's really kind of, I'm at the basics of it now, you know, kind of like the assignments for the directions, like Belial, North, Lucifer, East, Satan, South, and Leviathan, West. And I just got to the part, interestingly enough, talking about their sigils, and it seems to be it's more drawings or imagery than words, but they do use words also in there. So it's interesting. I'm not reading it yet, but I did get a book, and I'll show both of these, by Alistair Nacht, N-A-C-H-T, called Sanctum of Shadows. And so this is actually, he's written, I think, 11 books, and I came across this title, or Alistair Nacht, from Sorceress Maggie Moon, who's on Instagram and YouTube's, and she has a lot of books, particularly about the Luciferian path. And she had done an interview with Alistair Nacht, and he's just got such a calm energy. And I've always been and continue to be someone that just likes to learn a little bit about whatever I can. And so I think that'll be really interesting. Has anybody ever heard of Alistair Nacht? In his books, one of which, Sanctum of Shadows. I'll show it when we get our video up there.
Interesting name. Interesting name. Hey, little tree sap, how's it going?
Hey, little tree
I have
sap.
to say it right.
Little tree sap.
Stupid.
Morning.
So we will have video up just shortly. I wanted to share a bunch of like images and things that we found that would be beneficial to today's discussion. Yet technology is not working with me on that, so I'm unable to do any type of display capture. So unfortunately, we're going to miss a few of those things. But the conversation is still going to go into detail about sigils, I think, in a little bit. We also are going to talk as our normal stuff that we go over and do some tarot, but. What I was finding is, for me, as somebody who likes to read, I do like to read. I'm finding I'm doing much better reading more than one book, but little smaller bits at a time. And I thought that is very weird from what I'm used to.
Me too.
So like I'm taking like 3 or 4 pages in the occult sciences, 3 or 4 pages in the polyvagal theory, and then maybe a couple pages in one of the Jungian books that I have and things like this. It's actually been much more enjoyable because these small little snippets I'm interacting with better. Like I'm getting more out of them. It just sucks to have to travel with them, which everybody's like, well, then get a Kindle. I have one. I hate it. I like books. I just do.
I like to smell books. Always have.
I'm gonna be very worried if they ever like get rid of books completely. Like if it goes to just all digital, which I think it will eventually. But like if there's ever a book that I can't get written, like physically, I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah. So you have, of course, been on a recent podcast because you do one every Saturday with Addie Estade, and last night y'all did talk about sigils in the show.
Yeah, me and him talked about it before the show. He was asking me, what do you think we should do a topic on? I said, well, let's talk a little bit about sigils. Because, we're going to have a thing today on sigils, and I don't know, I'm going to beat this dead horse, I promise. But I was just so excited to share some of the pictures and images that I took to help learn how to do them, but we'll talk through it. So it's not the same as the discussion yesterday, but yeah, sigils can be highly personal, they can be very specific. Now, I am very technical and methodical about them, like to me, and how I do them, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, so as you probably will notice too, when we get our video up and running here shortly, we haven't had a whole lot of guests on insofar as, Joy, I know everybody's been extremely busy. It's been insane for everybody, including me and Rook, but lots of really good energies and topics have been coming out of conversations with everybody. Crafting is one of them. Sigils to me can be a type of craft or a type of ritual, which is also really cool. Glad you stopped in. Have fun working.
Thanks, Kayla. Have a good day. Don't work too hard or enjoy it. If you do.
Let's see if our video is working. There we go. I think that'll be fine. Oh, we should have got our drinks first.
Yeah, we will. I will.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the drinks. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. All right, I'll take that back. All right, so ongoing
Really?
What?
You just braise up.
Oh, it'll be nasty behind my back and expect me to be nasty to your front. Y'all ever heard that one? I just coined that. I like it.
Oh.
Don't have somebody be nasty to your back and they expect them to be nasty to your front.
I do like that.
Because I was going to give you a little plug for the drink stuff. And I thought it was
ahead.
cool, but no. Go ahead. Do it your damn self. What I was gonna say, but no, really, all joking aside. So, I think I mentioned it last night too, if I remember. So there's this place, and there's a bunch of them. It's like a big craze thing. There's the one we did was called Seed Lip, and there are 3 flavors. We got 2 of the 3 to try them out because I expected them to taste like trash, and they are actually really good. And it's just like a bottle of quote unquote liquor. But it's non-alcoholic, and it is very good to drink with a mixer and have a drink with. It's really good, and I was very, very shocked at it doesn't taste like alcohol. So if you don't like alcohol and you don't drink, it's still really good to have these types of mocktails, for lack of a better frame or word, but
They're very pleasant.
It's different. It's pleasant. They have their own place, I think. So we would highly recommend, or at least I would, whether you drink or don't drink, if you want to have a nice refreshment that's different from what you're used to, periodically, then Seed Lip is a good option. And you literally, you do the same thing. You take a shot and you put it in and mix it with a mixer. We did 7-Up last night, I think, and ginger ale. Both were really good.
And it's really important for, I think you said it last night, for people that have depression or are on medications that would be contraindicated to drink alcohol with. It lets you participate and enjoy and get that relaxing feeling without further depressing yourself or causing a problem with your meds. And they're really good. Seed Lip, and there's a whole bunch of others we'll probably try, but it's a really nice deal.
And we'll let you know we'll kind of give you some feedback on them. I think we might as well add that to our service because I think that that's something that a lot of people need. I want to make sure that people recognize what is the class of medication. If you treat it like a chemical, which it is, the class of medication or chemical for alcohol is a central nervous system depressant. If you have depression, alcohol is not going to help, even though it makes you feel better because of the lowered inhibitions. It is still a depressant.
It just makes it worse.
It does.
Yeah.
I drink. I'm not going to stop drinking. I enjoy it. I like having my little buzz once in a while. But I'm also really excited to kind of throw this in. I come from a long line of alcoholics on both sides of my family. I probably could consider myself an alcoholic with some of the things that I've done in my past and the amount of drinking I did as a younger. Luckily, I've been able to manage it a little better as an adult where I think we literally pretty much only drink for the podcast for me and then the mimosas in the morning here. It's a really nice alternative.
It is. Yeah, and I can tell you from personal experience, I started a medication for ADHD and anxiety, and I didn't drink for about a month. And I asked my doctor, and she said, yeah, you can have 1 or 2. Well, dumb me, I could not have 2. I had 3 mimosas, and it just stripped away the good effects of the medication. So it just wasn't worth it to me. So I have a thoughtful husband that got these for me, so I can still participate and
now I like
and not have any bad effects. Because you have to agree, that day I did that, anything I tried to do, I was off. We tried to do a video, and it was just
yeah, it didn't work.
Messed up. Hey, Melvin, good morning.
Woot woot, thank you, sir.
Woot woot.
Love that. I love being people's cleaning sounds.
I do too. Music. I love it.
I think that's great.
I love it.
So that is something like if you again, actually I think Melvin doesn't drink, does he?
I don't know.
Is that
I don't
correct?
think so.
I could be wrong. I think for some reason I feel like you don't drink. We were just finishing up talking about Seed Lip. It's not cheap. It's $35 for I think a liter or just under a liter. But it only takes,
it on here too.
Yeah, it only takes 2 ounces per drink. So we did 2 ounces of the Seed Lip Grove or Spice, and then you mix it with whatever you're drinking. You can mix it with orange juice, just like you would make a liquor drink. And this stuff is really good. Doesn't taste like alcohol.
Good. Which is good because it tastes good.
But it's got its own separate little. It's got a complexity to it that a regular a Shirley Temple doesn't have, which I also like. Or which my favorite thing ever is Italian soda cream. I forgot what you call them. Somebody's going to say it soon, but it's basically soda flavoring and heavy cream. They're so good. Cream sodas, I guess, is the best. Well, I thought that was you. And so we were, like, for me last night, I only ended up having 2 mixed drinks, because I had a seed lip drink in between, and it was good.
I had 0.
It fits the bill. So, Melvin, if you ever come over and hang out with us, we have liquor here, but we have you covered too. We have the makers of the mocktails, and they are good.
They're
like
really good. It's kind of I don't know what's in it. I'll have to look it up, but you do feel relaxed, and it might be psychosomatic, but
sure.
The taste is so good, and it's good.
Yeah,
we'll show them here in a minute.
Yeah, we'll grab a bottle.
No books. In fact, I'm going to have a mock mimosa.
A mock mosa?
A mock mosa.
Who is messing with my camera? These dogs going to be the death of me.
So what else? Projects. We're still working on our shadow work and shadow work series, which it's really taking its time.
Yeah, we did release the 5th episode on Friday, which was done probably a week and a half ago. But we're letting the episodes come as they come and not forcing them, and allowing ourselves to just stop if we need to stop, because forcing them just doesn't work. We've tried it, and we just get frustrated and need to move on. But
last Sunday, it was one.
And it was good, because I don't like to let things go, even when they're not working. I like to force them, like, gotta get it done. Same way with yard work. So I was very proud of myself as a result of some of the shadow work, of saying, you know what, this just isn't working right now. Let's come back to it. And it was fine. I didn't die. So that's part of my anxiety and stresses. I am recognizing slowly through shadow work that I carry a lot of stress. And I don't show it at all sometimes, and I try to tell myself, I don't even feel stressed, I'm fine, but I'm allowing those stresses to kind of go in and change what I do. So that's part of the shadow I'm working on. Our next episode, we're not reading any further right now.
Right.
Our next episode, we're going to talk, I think, about our cards number 1 and 2, which is denial
and anxiety.
Yeah. So number 1 is denial in the center, and then anxiety is the second of the 6 cards in the Star of Discovery. So we're going to talk about those in our next episode, and I will tell you, when it gets going, I have notes out the wazoo from just things that I'm feeling and doing, and that comes. So it's a really great process. We're enjoying it. The Operation Network thing. Right now, with the energies the way they are, I'm feeling a little bit retreated, which is I need personal time right now. Like, I need self. So while we're still reconnecting with the world and starting to go out and do things a little bit more, even like yesterday, we went out to the antique mall.
Oh yeah, we got a cool.
We're supposed to meet some people, and they didn't show.
They didn't show. But I'm glad we went. We got a. I got a cool macabre light. My second one. I had one about 3 years ago that I got from the same person, and it was like a baby doll head. She has this black veil on. But yesterday I got a Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs Easy Bake Oven with a doll head in the oven that lights up as the lamp.
It was so.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest. This stuff does kind of creep me out a little bit, but I get it. Going out and doing stuff, I think we need to do a little bit more. Just changing the environment a little bit. It is too hot to be outside right now.
It is freaking hot and humid here.
Yeah, it is disgusting.
Humidity is probably 80%. Feels that way anyway.
It really does. It is disgusting.
And we got, depending on what you call them, gossip chairs, kissing chairs, courting chairs. And they're these conjoined chairs we'll be able to show in the Discord. I gotta go pick them up later, but they're really freaking cool. But I have a question. Does anyone know if you can dye fabric that's attached to furniture? Because the seats are covered in like a white or a cream fabric, and I'd like to dye them like black or deep purple black. So does anybody know if you can dye fabric when it's attached to the furniture? Like the red dye or whatever it is?
That would be a good question to answer. Can I just say that I absolutely 100,000 trillion quintillion % despise Delta.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's not very nice.
So, and I'm getting my stuff for my flight tomorrow, and I just want to make sure I get it done timely because so much of their stuff has messed up and doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Like, I spent an hour on this app this morning trying to figure out if my flight even got canceled or not because it just wouldn't load. It said the flight didn't exist. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at the moment, so my apologies. And look, I'm all in the back of the bus. The back of the bus on the left and a window seat. How dare they? I'm just kidding. That's fine. Because there's no connecting flight. Anyway, part of my shadow is I cannot handle changes to my schedule. And they want me to upgrade my seat, really? For $450 for an hour and a half.
Wow.
There's people that can actually afford that. Good for you. 'Cause I cannot. Anyway, all right, that's done. My apologies. I like to sign in as soon as I can when my flights come up every week or whenever I do them. So anyway.
All right.
News. You gonna talk about your news?
Ooh, yeah. So one thing that's cool to me, I've got a lot of books.
Ooh, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
I think before we do this, I need a drink.
Okay.
And I can go make them if you'd like to talk about the Bolskin.
You can go make them. Doesn't matter. Do you want a actual or a mock one?
A mock.
Okay.
And then
Let's
bring
see how this
whichever
is.
one you make. We're gonna bring this. So it's gonna be orange juice and Grove, I think, right?
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna try our mocktail. Yeah, I don't have a clue either. Let's see. So I'm not going to go into that news yet because I don't want to skip the work that Rook did this morning and speak on that. Anybody who is in the great state area of Atlanta, Georgia, I will be there all week this week. Wouldn't mind going out and meeting somebody for coffee. Trying to be a little bit more. I'm already out and about across the United States. Why don't I, say hi to people, right? Granted, I'll only meet people in public spaces because I'm little. People freak me out a little bit. I'm just kidding, but yeah. We've got 2 news articles that we kind of wanted to share. And one of them I think is extremely exciting because it's something that I've often thought about. And that is the energetic geometry discussion that Rook is going to go over with us in the news from the Temple of Witchcraft. So if you don't know the Temple of Witchcraft, then you may not know Christopher Pensack. I don't know him, but I have some of his books, and we've had some discussions actually, which you probably wouldn't even know. And he is one of the 3 founders, I believe 3 founders of the Temple of Witchcraft. It's I don't know if it's in Salem, but it's up north on the East Coast, and it is. I have a couple of friends that have gone through the training, all the way through the training, and really, really enjoy it. It's very ceremonial, organized, and it just everybody I've talked to that's done the Temple of Witchcraft as a kind of a learning experience has really enjoyed it and really had high things to say about it. So we do have a couple of his books as well that we will utilize and probably be reading through. But I bring that up because one of the things I like about the Temple of Witchcraft is I'm not a member. I did highly closely consider it. But even if you don't, you may not be initiated into their mysteries and learn everything about the Temple of Witchcraft, but you can still engage and inform your practices from the books that they write in the inclusions, and that's what the energetic geometry discussion is going to be about in a minute. And I find that it is very, I think, and what you will maybe get out of it is a little bit of our discussion about the Georgia, what are they called? I already forgot the name of them. The Georgia stones, the guide stones, is that what they were called? That were, vandalized and then torn down. But the utilization of sacred geometry and buildings to direct and manage energy from the earth. So I think this is something that has been going on since the beginning of time. Time immemorial. And they're very closely connected to sigils for me. So once Rook goes over that discussion on energetic geometry, I want to talk more in detail about it and see how that goes. And then
We get the bottle.
We'll also be talking about the Boleskine House restoration. So some good stuff there. So if you guys are interested, if you don't drink or just want to reduce your drinking, Rook is going to show you is it tight under our little stand cam here. That's the Seedlip. It's SEEDLIP Seedlip. That is the Grove 42. That is one of their 3 flavors. It is a citrus, as you can see, it's like citrusy. The images are so cute. And I think the ingredients are on the side, but that's delicious. And it's literally just to augment flavors of other drinks, and it does very well. I think my favorite has been with the ginger ale. It tasted a lot like a, I don't even know what you would call it, but it was good. And this is obviously not a mimosa, it's orange juice and then the Seedlip Grove 42. It is also delicious.
With ginger ale, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A little ginger ale for the fizzy.
Yeah.
So that is really good. So you're having a drink, orange juice is great. 7-Up, ginger ale, great. Orange juice and 7-Up, great. But adding a little bit of the Grove type flavor really gives you a nice little refreshment. It's just so good. And I believe it was $32 for a bottle, which like I said is a little spendy, but it's 2 ounces per drink, and which would be 60 mils. So there's probably about
15 drinks.
10 to 15 drinks in there, yeah. And you wouldn't want it with every drink. You would be kind of sparingly. But cheers, yes. After this, I'm having some champagne, but I'm just saying.
I shall continue with the mocks.
And we're going to try a couple of different brands, too. But that's really good, the way you made it. So that's ginger ale, orange juice, and Seedlip.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff.
Oh, so the Boleskine House. So Aleister Crowley's house is being restored. It had been really damaged by fire in, I think, 2015 and 2019. After the 2019 fire, the house was taken on by a nonprofit called the Boleskine House Foundation with the aim of fully restoring it. And they're trying to restore everything, the outside, the sandstone, the gardens that were there, of course the inside. And their goal is to restore it so that to give tours. Fully anyone's welcome for tours. So
Would
the house,
love to see that.
oh God, I would love to go that. And Inverness, Scotland. It was formerly owned by Led Zeppelin member Jimmy Page. The house itself was built in the 1760s as a hunting lodge by Colonel Archibald Fraser. The Boleskine House, the Restoration Fund, House Foundation, like I said, they want to restore it to the original integrity. The latest work they've started on is to repair the roof through their Raise the Roof campaign. And they've so far put up 100 tiles that they did on May 30th.
I would love to go see that. That's got to be on our list of things.
That would just be freaking amazing. Aleister Crowley purchased the house in 1899 from the Fraser family in order to make the most of its secluded location and to undertake, don't crucify me here, I don't know if I'm going to say this, but to undertake the Abramelin ritual.
Abramelin. I think it's how I've usually heard it is Abramelin.
Crowley's life was frequently turbulent at the Boleskine house, and he afterwards claimed that his magic got out of control, got out of hand. Crowley left the house in 1913 to move to a cottage near Falkirk. A couple of things that happened at that house were his head keeper's children died. Crowley's head keeper's children died, and a future owner died of a suicide by a shotgun there. So,
yeah, if you want to read the full article, it's by Liz Williams on the Wild Hunt, I think.
Yes, wildhunt.com.
Which is a great place to get some good articles. We do pull a lot of our stuff from
Good
there.
morning, Steph.
Hey, good morning. I think there was a couple of documentaries we watched on Aleister Crowley, and this was like the moment or the place where things like really went nuts, and in his practices, I think this was probably the most energetic place. I don't know that I'd want to live there.
I definitely want to go for a tour.
I'm looking behind us because we have a couple of really hard-used books that of Aleister Crowley that I want to read eventually that are on my list. But yes, oh my God, can you imagine if we had a goal of in 5 years, because it'd have to be a ways off, in 5 years, start saving now to take a trip to Scotland and go as a group. Oh, that'd be so much fun.
That would be really cool.
I'd be beside myself.
And I heard you talk about the Temple of Witchcraft project in
I just talked about the Temple of Witchcraft in general.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Salem, New Hampshire.
Yeah. About the energetic geometry apprenticeship program they're going to offer.
I gave no details. Only talked about the temple itself.
And they're trying to. So that's a school. School with 3 gentlemen, Christopher Pinzak, and I never remember the other 2 names. It was.
I'm sure they are not happy about that.
Well, Pinzak has so many books.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought I wrote it down here.
Steve Kenson and Adam Sartwell.
Yeah. Oh, was it that far
Adam
back?
Sartwell, I think, has some books, maybe 2, or that name I'm familiar with.
Oh, yeah, right there. Okay. So they're trying to redefine ecological awareness. And this program may lead to a new sacred site for magical practitioners. The program is a system of techniques aimed at creating harmonious living with the natural world. Some cornerstones of it are building of structures that cultivate the energies of the land and how to harmonize space. At the heart of the course is healing of lives and reestablishing lost connections to spirituality. The Susanis, Dominique and Karen, they're married, are pioneers behind energetic geometry and have been teaching the principles for decades. The course will consist of 5 levels, offering students hands-on approach to learning starting April 2023. Christopher Pinzak has always held an interest in stone circles, ancient temples, and cultivating energy of sacred spaces. A few years ago, he encountered the Suzanne's work, did some of their workshops, and knew that he wanted to bring those principles to the Temple of Witchcraft. So I thought that was interesting.
It is, and I want to learn more about that. And I think the 2 things that stood out for me, and thank you, Melvin. I actually wrote that down. I'm going to look into that later today. So the cornerstones that you talked about, building of structures that cultivate the energies of the land and how to harmonize space. So sounds a little bit like feng shui. Some ideas behind it. Now, feng shui is, I don't know a lot about it, but it is positioning and harmonious directioning and layouts, right? And then so from what I know of, which is very, very, very little, with energetic geometry in this format is like the utilization of kind of how we think of a charging crystal, or certain structures built in a way that are, again, harmonious with nature and that work within nature. I don't know if this would lend me more to think of a Stonehenge style obelisk or a Hobbit home, and I'm not trying to be funny. Like, seriously. So that would be something very interesting to learn about. And if I'm not mistaken, also, you do not have to join the Temple of Witchcraft to take all of their classes. Some of them you don't have to, but I'd be interested in looking and kind of learning a little bit more about that. I have learned about myself, at least this part of my life. There is no part of me that wants to be a member of a witchcraft school or something. That I do want to learn this stuff, but I don't want to be in a dogmatic class 1, class 2, class 3. You got to do X, Y, and Z. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I tried a couple. It's just like when you get into having to do things that way for that tradition, I like to learn and pull too much from too many different things and ways to, I think, commit to a certain path
Yeah, I just don't like being told you have to do something a very specific way. Like, that's not okay to me.
I mean, one of them even told me that my deity focus and experience with a deity was wrong.
Yeah, that was
And
bad.
they have no way to know that. How do you know what I experienced with a deity? So, I'll continue on reading and learning from all.
That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, no worries. Stuff. We're all kind of working and doing laundry and different stuff.
Oh yeah,
Today.
all kinds of stuff going on. We've talked every week for the last couple of weeks since the last Sabbath about Lunasa, so I think we've kind of beat that one to death too. You know, this is the beginning harvest season. We're gearing up for it officially in the calendar. It's August 1st. We're celebrating it August 6th.
6.
We are not doing a big ritual, a big thing. My assumption or my guess is what we probably will end up doing is cooking some first harvest inspired foods. This would be corns, grains, wheats,
Good
breads. Oh, I think we're probably going to end up doing 2 or 3 breads like we did last time.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to find people to give them to because they go bad. Because we keep
Can
them.
you believe that was a year ago we first made that?
Oh, that Lunasa bread, and like we just poured that dough out on like a cookie pan. And like we have no clue what we're doing, and it came out so good.
It was so good.
I
And
mean,
then my favorite, the molasses bread.
Walnut brown bread. We've made that so many times now, like we just know how to make it. But the Lunasa bread that we did, it had apricots, it had dried apricots, it had sunflower seeds. God, so many other things. It was so good. It was like cake.
It was really good.
So I actually do still have the video on from the Lunasa bread that we did. It's on there. It is very amateur, meaning you're going to get all of the details. I didn't like break it down and like you would in a cooking show, but I don't have that kind of skill set. But if you want to see it, it's in there. Really good. So then we're also going to look at what other things we could do that would be appropriate foods for them. These would be all the first harvest stuff. So I'm betting we'll use a lot of fruit and stuff for some of the foods that we do, fruits and cheeses, things that are light and crisp, apples. Those are all things that are relatively reminiscent of that first harvest in August. So that'll be really fun. The corn dollies, we've had to make some adjustments to that just for time and space and people permitting. So we're probably going to do our own version of that somehow. I don't know exactly how we'll do it. I don't even know where to get a husk from at this point, other than if we just get whole corn from the place.
Farmer's market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every time I've tried to get corn, like it's already packaged, and I want fresh.
Yeah.
I want to pull it off the freaking stalk. As far as the supermoon, so again, nothing super, I think, scheduled. I won't probably be home on the supermoon, or even the next full moon, which we're going to talk about that, kind of the full moons that are coming up in a minute. Because the next full moon, August 11th and 12th, it's going to be interesting. So, but yeah, so that is going to be fun. It's gonna be fun.
And absolutely, hey Joy.
Hey,
Good
Joy.
morning. Welcome. Absolutely, numbers can be a part of it. I think it'd be anything
Yes.
that numbers would definitely be an important part to it if that's important to you or what you're doing.
And I'm going to share how I do them. And there's 3 ways. I shared one of the websites last night, but we'll get into that. I don't want to forget because the website, you can choose it to do it different ways. I still like doing it manually, but the website does follow some of the structures that I use, which is helpful. So let's talk about some of the sun, moon as bats, things like that. So waning crescent is where we currently are with the moon. So we are waning crescent, 15%. We're in Gemini. That's a mutable air sign. And sun, we're just moving into Leo yesterday, I think. So our sun is new into fire of the summer. Our moon is currently transgressing through Gemini, which is air. So think of the fire and the air things, right? So if we're working on creative endeavors like editing a video or making something new or a new craft, you're probably going to want to approach it logically. systematically from the air part of your psyche and your that's not what I want to say, your spirit. So that would be small energies going on right now, right? So you're working on processes. Don't go too much. Don't go too big, because if you go too big when you're starting in fire with air, what do you get? You get the fire tornadoes, right? You get things just, and then you get the flash fire, and then it's just done, and then you miss out on all the things in between. So creativity, logically, consistently, small things, get them going. It's good. You start multiple. You can do multiple little things and just move them through, but nothing really huge would be my recommendation. Our next full moon is August 12th in Aquarius.
I'm sorry. I don't know if this is psychosomatic, but I feel a little buzz.
It's psychosomatic.
Is it?
You can go get me in.
But that's a good thing, though. It works. I mean, it tricks you.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something to it.
Oh.
Some other people have reported that too, that they feel a little just.
I mean,
relaxed.
I have the same effects, like relaxing effects that
The first buzz.
I would like with champagne. Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that it's both, and you know, it's interestingly that you bring that up, and I don't want to miss the point, but when you talk about psychosomatic or placebo type effect, I hate that people call it fake. It's not fake.
Yeah.
It is an effect.
It triggers a muscle memory.
Or
I think.
it just triggers a feeling of the same thing in the same time and space when you're having a cocktail. It's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to make you physically drunk.
No, it's cool.
But anyway.
I like how it's working.
Yeah,
it's
really
really
I like
cool.
it. I don't like how a lot of times some individuals will say something that's a placebo effect means it doesn't work. I just don't agree. Yeah, Tractor Supply is like one of my favorite places. We have not been in a long time.
Yeah, that's
We
cool.
need to go. Oh, one of the things that we're going to start working on is our gardens, our flower beds out front. I forgot to mention this earlier. We're going to kind of pull up all the current stuff that's in there, and I have 10,000 dandelion seeds that I'm
Ooh.
going to throw in there, and we're going to make a couple of different flower beds to do that with. I'm not going to do the whole yard and the wildflower thing because my Virgo is going to want to keep the grass even. So I'm going to make flower beds for it in different areas.
And I'm going to throw my Texas bluebonnet seeds in there.
Yes, fine. We're going to do some wildflowers, and I love dandelions because I want to make dandelion mead. And if I can't find good dandelions, I'm going to grow my own. Damn it. Yeah. Yes, little tree set. That is, and I keep saying little. I think I need to be careful. Little tree set. I kid. But yes, it is more proof that your brain does have the power. 100%.
I like that. Sure is helping me.
So yeah, next full moon, August 12th. It is a super moon, as Steph has kind of mentioned. Forgot to write that down though. But also, I'm not doing. I think that's like a Thursday, Friday. We'll probably do our normal. I like to go outside in the front. I've done that, I think just once recently here, and just kind of watch it and just kind of lay with it. The problem is, no matter where we go in our yard, our dogs see us and they start barking and they want to be out with us. So we might be able to find a way to get BG out with us.
Yeah.
Get on a leash and put one of those little screw-in things. But anyway, very excited about that. The next moon thingy, whatever you call it, moon status, there's a word I can't think of. Phase, thank you, is the new moon on July 28th. So in this new moon, we just left Cancer, but the new moon is going to be in Cancer. So July 28th, 27th, 28th, 29th, these time frames are also going to be like a water in fire. So this is why we were really recommending some water workings on that weekend. If you're able to get in the pool, go to the beach and do some things with that and candles, or that and light, to kind of give you that feeling of fire and water together, and trying to find that balance. Ritualistically, some things you can do at the beach or at the pool that engages fire and water is the things that you create while you're in the pool. You can make watercolored paintings. You can do all kinds of things that will bring those two energies within balance there. It's very easy for water to put fire out, and it's very easy for fire to dissipate and boil the water and make it into steam. So you have to find the balance to where those two can exist together, and that's kind of how you would think about the ritual process when it comes to that.
Now that Joy's in, Joy, do you know if you're able to dye fabric that's already attached to furniture, like the top or seat cover, and it's attached. We got a really cool joined chairs called gossip kissing
Courting.
chairs, whatever, depending on who you are and ask, or the same person in
Change your
30
mind 3
seconds
times.
change their mind.
Mm-hmm.
But can you dye fabric on a chair while it's attached?
I mean, I'm sure you can. My thought is, but I think we might end up messing up the wood of the chair too. But it
Right.
is dark. I like the fabric.
Yeah, cool. I mean, we don't have
We
to.
can just get a little piece of like a small square fabric and just drape it over it and hold it there too if we want, to protect underneath, because it's an antique,
It's an antique.
and we don't want the dogs to.
No
tear
one
it
to
up.
screw it up. Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, though, I should have asked this, Steph. Two things you mentioned: supermoon. If you're willing and want to, do you want to share what you're doing for the supermoon? Is there something special you're looking at with supermoons in general, or just this one?
And then the 88.
And then the Lion's Gate.
Lionsgate, yeah.
I did write that as a topic for next week.
I don't know what that is. So.
I'm not very familiar with it. I've heard the term. I've listened to the term. I've also listened or heard the term involved in some of the cult issues or some of the cult groups. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. So I'd have to kind of research that. But anything you would like to share on that, please feel free. Or let us know, because next week I think we can make those some topics. I think August 8th would be Lion's Gate. So 8/8. And then after that, on the 12th, will be the full moon, which is the supermoon. Now, I've celebrated supermoons in the past, and usually you can do some research on it, but ultimately for me, the only difference between how I treat a regular moon Esbat and a supermoon Esbat is I give myself a little bit more time, and I usually involve more of the deities that I'm working with, the feminine deities. And it just is a much stronger energy to me. The water that we do, moon water during supermoon, is usually spread out a little bit. So, but nothing specific. So,
No, cool.
so the two types of rituals. I'm assuming these both are for Lionsgate. I'm going to mess that up. Suntalak, it looks like. Doing an actual fire ritual. Awesome for prosperity. I like that. That is too cool. And then the smaller candle group ritual will be for prosperity, love, whatever you want. So basically you're doing one for yourself, or not for yourself, but your own personal working, it sounds like, and then something that's a little bit more generically encompassing for others to get together. I like that. That is pretty cool. And then supermoon, full moon, the ritual evoking the four spirits: Azazel, Belial, Lucifer, and Astaroth. Do you do your supermoon different from any other full moon, or like for me, it's more. I spend more time usually, and I spend a little bit more energy, and I feel a little bit differently, but not that different. You know what I mean? Not like significantly. It's more of that to me also is more archetypal when it's the moon, the Esbats. That is cool. I love that.
That is cool.
Got it. So that's cool. That allows people who want to engage with the spirit in a certain way to be a part of it, and those that don't to be a part of it. That's really cool.
That's
and I'm
awesome.
sure a lot of people appreciate you doing stuff like that, because that's how you get it done, right? Got it. Okay. Fair. I like it. That is too cool. Thank you for sharing that. I would like to, at some point, I know it's early for you, but at some point we should be able to get you on and hop on and talk about some of those things, because those are things that we don't really get super engaged in very specifically. I would love to have more conversations on those. I had a bunch of James Webb Telescope images that are licensed that I could share that I cannot get to come up on the screen now because I can't get it to work. But one of the things I wanted to kind of share with the James Webb Telescope is how clear the pictures are versus the previous iterations of telescopes. Because the further and the better the definition we get, we start seeing more and more things behind it. And I think what we're going to learn is that there's always more behind it. And I think that's what we kind of feel in our spiritual life. There's never-ending growth. There's always something more behind it. But what changes? Our resolution. What changes is our ability and how far we see, right? So you have resolution of a picture. The more resolution, the deeper detail you get. The further you can zoom in. And that's kind of the same thing with the James Webb Telescope. And that, to me, is humanity's collective spirit trying to see further into the universal source, which we will never see, because every time we improve our resolution, I think there's just going to be more behind it. I don't think it's ever going to end. And it kind of goes along with how we never stop learning. So excited for that, and I really wanted to share that, those pictures. But you can go on, I think it's msn.com, not MSNBC, just msn.com. That was for some people. I'm kidding. But it's at msn.com, the news site, the generic news site, and look up the wormhole and the resolution. Both of those with the James Webb Telescope, JWT. Beautiful images that really kind of talk about and go into some of those reasons and some of those things that kind of work for me.
All right, Calvin. Woo! Congratulations.
That is awesome. Congrats to him. I don't think they're in here, but so let's talk about sigils. We have 30 minutes. We're going to talk about sigils in that time and hopefully start with our tarot. We're not probably going to take the whole 30 minutes for sigils. I'm going to go get me some champ.
I'm going to make it for you.
Oh. Slow poke.
You want a real just champagne or mimosa?
Just champagne. Thank you. I like just saying champagne. It's not champagne. It's the cheap bubbly version. We're not champagning and caviaring over here. So I'm going to draw, which I was really hoping I could just share this with you guys online, because that would have been very beneficial. So the process that I use for making sigils is different almost every time. Sometimes I literally just make the sigil as I'm working through whatever I'm doing, whatever feels right. But oftentimes, my Virgo brain, it's going to... it's not going to let me do that. It wants a system that can be repeated, right? So that's how my brain does. And there's quite a few different systems. So there's the Chaos Star, which, if you know what the Chaos Star looks like, I can't remember how many points. I think it's 9 or 10 points, but it's just a star with 10 points on it, and each point will represent a starting point for a letter, and you go around and you letter each of those around, so you've used all of the alphabet. So it'd be like A, hopefully you guys can see my hand here, it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and you just continue going all the way around. And once you create your word, or your initial word, depending on how you feel called to do it, you then can plot out like a little graph where those lines go. That's one way to do it. I've done a couple that way. When I'm really working with fire and I want something to move really fast, I use that star, because the Chaos Star speaks really fast and energetic to me. For the most part, since I am such an earth energy, to me, I like standard, plain processes. So what I use is generally called the magic square. I like it because the sigils that you get from it are kind of neat. I also kind of like where you can do both and then kind of mix them together. So if you don't draw and you want a place to start, and you don't feel comfortable that you're going to be able to meditate on it and just have a sigil appear to you, or feel it out from an artistic spiritual method, then magic squares is probably the place I would say you could start. And I say could, not have to or should, just could. What I like about the magic square is it's extremely simple. It's very easy to teach to kids if you have children that are interested in paganism and magic. It's very easy for them to follow. They've actually probably done something similar in class at some point with this anyway. I know we did when we were younger. And I'm going to draw out to the magic square that hopefully will make sense to you so you see it. And then I'll try to draw one for you that's on a random name. Now remember, I think there's probably as many ways to make sigils as there are sigils. So when we go through this, or when you look at this, don't feel like you have to do it a certain way, or if you don't understand it right away, I can help you with that. So one way to make sigils, again, is the magic square. And to me, that magic square can be a 3x3, a 4x4. If you read, what is that book? the Black Arts, I think it is. There's a couple of books that include the Occult Sciences probably has in it too that talk about magic squares. But again, something very easy to do, and it's consistent and repetitive, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy them. So what you do is you draw a little grid with 9 squares, and I'm going to show you in steps how I do them in this method. So can you, I'm going to switch over real quick. Hold that up, see if we can actually see it. There it goes.
Let me straighten it up better.
Yeah, see, that was actually good. So you can see, I'm not done with it. I just wanted to see the first start. So in the 9 boxes that I made, I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Now I'm going to continue back at the top with J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and I'm going to go all the way around until I have the full alphabet. Now, here's the other thing. Some people use vowels, some don't. There's reasons behind that. I don't care. I don't think you do have to or don't or can't use the sigils. I will say when you use vowels, the sigils can get a little messy. I'm going to use vowels because it's the easiest process. So let's do, we're going to finish with J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now, if you want to use numbers, put the numbers in there too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is perfectly okay. So now you can see what I did. I have A in the first block, so I went A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I went back to the top and went across again. J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. If you are somebody who does not want to use vowels, you can take the vowels out, but in the magic square, you don't have to because that's going to come in the next part. So everybody with me now how to set up your magic square. So this is what I would start with for your first sigil. All right. This would have been so much better with the way I had it set up. I'm sorry to make you get up and down so much.
It's okay.
So I'm going to use my name, Brian. Nobody use my sigil and come after me, though. Because that's not very nice. So the reason I wrote the letters kind of at the top of the box is because you want the center of the box to be free. Because we're going to connect centers. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put a circle, which is the start piece. That means the first letter. Well, let me back up. B-R-I-A-N is how I spell my name. So if you want to not use vowels, then you just use the consonants of that name. I won't give you the rest of my name, but I want to make something. I'm going to use Smith. That's not my last name, but I want you to see how it works. So then we're going to take out the vowels. So I and A come out of my first name, and then the I comes out of my last name. Also, if there's any duplicates, you'll take them out. So you're going to end up with B, R, N, S, M, T, H. So on the top right, I want you guys to look and see what I've done there. I wrote my name out. I crossed out the, what do you call them? Vowels. And then what's left is B, R, N, S, M, T, H. If there were any duplicates there, I would have taken them out too. Like you don't want 2 S's or 2 N's because it'll just make you backtrack a line. It looks silly. So that's the second part. So paranormal witch. Yours might be P-R-N-M-L would be the first part of paranormal. So those would be the letters you would start with. And then W-T-C-H. And if any of those are duplicates, you just mark them out or any vowels. Okay? So now you have your name broken down into letters. And you have your, what we call our magic square. The symbol to start the magic square, and I'll show you what this means, is a circle. So in the box that has the B, because that's the first letter for me, I'm going to put a circle. Might as well just stay in.
Okay.
If you want to do that. So you see that second middle box at the top is a B. That's my first letter in my name that I've minimized. So I put a circle there. The next letter is an R. So I'm going to take a line to go from that B to whatever box that has the R in it, which is the bottom right box. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay. I know. So now the see R is my second letter. So I put a line to the center of the box that has an R. So now I'm going to finish the whole thing by connecting down the line of those letters in a circle, and then you can take out the box behind it and you have your sigil. You love this, don't you?
I do.
So we have N, we have S. Where's S?
Okay, thank you, Joy.
We have M. Where is T? We go back there. And then H, where is our H? Is down here. So, if I am going to, I'm going to try to copy this so you guys can see it. If my name was Brian Smith, that would be my sigil. So remember, intent is very important. So, oh, I missed one step, sorry. I missed a step. I forgot a little line is the end. And that makes a big difference to me.
Do a sigil for slap
So
a
that
hoe.
ends the sigil. So that tells you that's the end. And this is just one of many different methods that you can use to make a sigil. I like it because it's consistent and it's simple. So now, if I want to connect something to this entity or this thing, which is me, or let's say I wanted to connect a puppet or a doll or a ritual candle, this is one of the sigils I could put on that candle or inscribe into that document or whatever I'm working on that will connect it to me because of the intent that I'm going to put in. Now, this also requires to be activated. Activating a sigil for me is ultimately connecting in your mind spiritually during a small, quick ritual that sigil is a representation of me, and not only is it a representation of me, it is me. It is everything of me, and it is the connect of me. It is all things that are Brian Smith. And that is how I do a simple sigil. So hopefully that would help a little bit if you guys are having some trouble, or if you want to start working on sigils. And then as you do them, you can start learning different ways. For example, a lot of times I'll break my name down and then convert it, or I'll take words that are really important or entities and convert them into runes using a rune guide, which is just the thing that tells you what the runes. I've almost learned them. I'm still trying to learn what they all mean, but a lot of them refer, like I use Isa because it's the easiest one. The rune Isa is an I, and it stands for I in the alphabet, because runes are ultimately what? An alphabet. I usually use Futhark, which is literally the letters Futhark. That's how that rune set starts. So, using those runes on certain words or deities or entities that you want to utilize or work with can also be very helpful to connect them. Absolutely. And if you want to give me a couple of random words and we can help you out with that, you can email them or whatever. We can help you for sure. This stuff is so much fun to me. But I'll use my full magical name to do these kind of connections. So, for example, when I made sigils for north, south, east, and west, I used completely different method. I used a more, what I consider an artistic method. I didn't use the magic square. I used the actual letters and words themselves to kind of just unfold in front of me, and then I mirrored them and made them duplicate. That worked for me because I intended that that's what those mean. This to me is one of the simple ways to do it. With the runes, I really enjoy that for actual like protection magic, or for connecting things together and deities together. So if I want to, again, when I do my altar when I'm away from home, I use sigils because it's hard to carry a whole bunch of stuff every week, and when I'm flying and traveling. And so we'll take those things and connect them with the sigils. And the sigils are usually my magical name, along with the direction of what I'm working. And then with the runes, I gotta sneeze.
Oh, watch out, Finn. Watch out, Finn. Watch out, Finny.
Oh my God, I hate it. It's the worst feeling ever when it goes away. That could have been so nice. what I like about the runes, and I showed a couple on the stream last night, is again, like protection or connecting to specific deities or energies. The runes become very helpful to me, and I work them into kind of a drawn pathway that works for me, that makes sense. And then I'll utilize those and activate those. Some people say you do activate every single one. I agree with that. Like every rune I make, every sigil I make, I activate. Because it's for a specific use and reason. Repetitive use, yes, absolutely. You don't have to do it each time you use it, but when you create and utilize it initially, I would. Rune magic and sigils are completely different. I just utilize sigils as rune magic in my sigils because sigils are often based off of words or images. And one way of communication with images is runes. But I am not a magician that utilizes runes extremely well in divination. That's a whole separate thing. And I don't know that I would even go into that specifically until, it's something you're really interested in, because it's not necessary. The magic square and the intent and the purpose of what you're doing is more than enough.
You can't have that fan.
Oh, my buddy. He's so cute. He's a sweet buddy. So yeah, definitely different. But that's one way to do a rune. A sigil. I need to slow down. That's part of my shadow work also, by the way.
Bubba.
Taking it down a notch. Anybody else? Dragon Dancer, I know you use runes and sigils. Actually, you gifted us with one that is activated and is on our front of our house for home protection. And it is, I think it's Jera Pertho, Fehu's in there, Gebo's in there, Wunjo, I think that's Wunjo. No, Thura says. I get them backwards sometimes, but you can definitely tell that it's runic. And, I probably should have put it in the back of the house where the hot water heater was. So, but any other ideas on runes, you guys? So the website, if you Google sigil maker at google.com, go and type in sigil, S-I-G-I-L, space maker, M-A-K-E-R. A couple will come up. The best one that I have found is on the Chaos Magic. So there's one, it's like the second or third option usually, and you can go to the Chaos Magic sigil, and then on that site there's a little button to click, take me to the online app. And it uses, you can tell it in the drop-down menu to use the magic square to check if it worked for you, or if it worked properly for you. And so that's one way to do it. I don't particularly like that, but it's a good way to check yourself to get started. Once you've done sigils a couple of times and you get really comfortable with the process and what they mean and how to activate them, then using runes or meditations or other things will become a lot easier for you in most cases. And then, Cauldron, which is saying, working or making sigils and you create a servitor, but the sigil comes to you in your mind. That's a very common way for people to make and utilize sigils. Sigils can be very personal, very specific to the person that are actually using them, because it would be very rare for two people to get the same sigil coming to their mind in two completely different locations or different areas. Although I'm sure it's happened. Again, for me, it's the consistency of it and the reproducibility of it that allows that connection. So that's one of the things that I really pay attention to. But there's tons and tons of different ways to do it. I think it was Little Tree Sap and Malice both talked about kind of similar to what Cauldron, which is talking about the sigils coming to them through meditation or through work with the deity. Absolutely, it works for it. There's just so many ways. There's so many ways. Because when it comes down to it, the real thing that probably matters the most, in my opinion, is the intention, but also the connection that you give it, the power that you give it. Sigils are useless unless you activate them or give them the energy or power that you want them to have. So if you're working on a sigil, let's say, and it's a sigil that comes to your mind because of your meditation, sigil's pretty much activated already, because that sigil comes from the entity and the working that you have with that deity or that issue or that thing. whatever it is. And so that sigil is more activated already. It's more part of what's going on. So it's more direct. It's more specific and more specified. When we do our sigils from like a method or something like this that's reproducible, it's a little different. You need to do a little more activation, I would think, because you've got to connect it on both sides because it's just not automatic. I agree. It's definitely what's most comfortable creating. There's no wrong or right. I would say, like I said, depending on how you do it, you just have to make sure it makes sense, right? So if Stephanie's working on, and I'm just saying I could be wrong, but I'm going to assume here. So if Stephanie's making a sigil, like I said, she's going to do her process. I don't know what that process is, but that sigil is going to connect to that entity or that thing, and she's going to pull all that in and work with it, and that's going to be what she uses. If I create a sigil for the same entity or the same deity, I'm going to have to still have that ritual action or that call to or evocation of the deity or the energy to connect it, and then I have to also activate it. So it's a little different because, that is, but it's not right or wrong. Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
And then what are your thoughts on moving it from your sight out of your conscious mind so that it's activated into your unconscious mind so that you don't see it and you don't recall it, but it's there.
Yeah,
on
so
a different connection. So
part of activating a sigil, really in ritualistic behavior or purposes that we do, involves working to put the sigil behind whatever the energy is. So it's almost like tying a knot between two things and then covering the knot up behind the couch, or plugging in the lamp on both sides with an extension cord and covering up all the cords, right? It's making it wireless. I guess is the best new way to think of it, right? When you make your sigil wireless or you activate it, you envision the sigil truly, again, being exactly what it is, not a representation only of, but actually being that thing and connecting those together. This is a little different with a servitor, which is a whole nother topic. But when you connect those together, you then work in your mind to push it out of your conscious mind into your subconscious or unconscious so that the connection remains, but you don't necessarily see it. So that is also a common practice. I don't necessarily know that that's something that's most critical to me. The activation is important, but I don't necessarily feel like you have to remove it from your conscious. I do think you should push it to your subconscious. It should be there as well, but I like it in both places.
Hey, Doug.
Personally.
Good morning.
Morning, Doug.
Hi, Bubba. Okay, well, I think
He gave me a kiss. He's a good boy.
I gotta go do my drug test.
Yeah, so I think Rook has to go. Bye.
Really? Did you say bye, Felicia? I saw you mouth Felicia.
I did not mouth Felicia.
I do want to show him the cool oracle deck you got me real quick. It's really neat.
Bubby. Hey, Joe Bubby.
I love notebooks and composition notebooks. And I came to a surprise of an oracle deck from Mystic this week.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta do the thingy.
I just want to show before I go pee in a cup. So this is the box that looks just like a composition notebook that you would buy at Walgreens, Woolworths, Eckerd's, Walmart,
Really?
wherever. A couple of stores that don't exist anymore. But the cards are really cool. And it comes with a little pamphlet. Looks the same. And the backs of the cards,
They're cute.
They're white and black, and one that is both white and black. And the black ones are for what you're connecting to within, and the white is what you are connected to or need to connect to without.
Yeah, and think of, like, to me, when you really think about composition as an oracle deck, it's like, what are you made of? what is the thing that grows you? What is the thing that makes you and puts you together? Inside in the white cards or outside in the white cards?
Yeah, the white are connecting outside. So see, like this, for example, black motivation. That's an internal thing or connection you make. Fate, external. Then here is the one that is both, and that's being. Trying to make it, and that's both internal and external connection. Internal, are you feeling detached? It's a really cool deck. Celebration. So it's just a really neat deck.
Yes.
And I'm excited to be able to use it. And it's actually 78 cards. It's like a tarot deck, but it's Oracle. It's really cool.
Why are you looking at me like that, Finn?
So I just wanted to kind of show that deck that you got me.
That's awesome.
It's really cool. Thank you.
Yes, I'm glad you like it. I know you have a thing for composition. I saw that. I was like, oh crap, I have to get that. As a matter of fact, he has a composition book on
right here.
the table. I hate composition books, by the way. Like they make me angry.
Speak of it right here.
I just can't take composition books. And it's the spine that drives me nuts.
So I actually have one. I love these things.
Hate them. Hate them. That is too funny though. So, it's very neat. It's very different.
It's different.
It's very different. So yeah, so we're gonna do tarot. Actually, I have a deck out here but I don't know that I'm gonna use that. I think I want to use the composition.
Oh, would you like to? Cool.
So this one we can save till next week. I have a very, very, very cool deck by John Matthews and Andrea Aste called the Tarot of Light and Shadow. It's different than some other ones that I've seen, but it is super fun. And it's 2 decks, actually, 2 full decks. And I'm going to go into that, though, next time. Today, we're going to do Composition Oracle. And
I have not cleansed them, so if you want to
I will.
use something before you use
If you're leaving, then it's just going to be 1 card. That's all I will have the ability to do today for you guys. Who wants to have a composition card pulled?
Everybody have a great week. Sorry to cut out. It's for work. It's a new job. It's a new job that was an old job, and it's now a new job. But I got to go. I have a deadline I have to get it in by 2 p.m. or
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
Go do it. Bye.
All right. Bye. Have a good week.
See you later. So, yeah. Yeah, I need to set up some kind of queue in there, but I do that so I can get an order. So yeah, so composition deck. The cards are pretty thin, but they are very sturdy. They're a sturdier deck than many that I've had that are thin like this. So we're going to pull a card for each of you guys. Now, if you haven't checked it out, I'm going to shamelessly plug the weekly energy tarot that I did yesterday morning. That is up and out there, so you can go there to get some of the weekly energies to kind of drill into some of this stuff. But we will do our traditional 1 card per person read. So, if we have visitors here with us, each of us pulls a card for the individual. So this time, since it's just me, then it's just me. I can only pull 1 card and get done in the time frame that we've given ourselves, because we did not give ourselves a whole lot of time. Let me do a little bit of just cleansing. Let's see if I have enough fire left on my charcoal here. It might be out. Why is... Okay, yeah, this is not shuffling. That is going to annoy me. It does not want to shuffle. It just wants to brick. It's the Shalon. The Shalon slow. There we go. That was a good shuffle. Light smoke to clean off any negative energy. This is the first time this deck is being used, so this will get rid of any manufacturing energy. Who knows the people that made it, if they touched it and they were bad people. You know, we wanted to let the smoke get all of that out, right? So that's why we cleanse our decks in as much as possible, sometimes in between, sometimes not. You can usually feel when the energy of a deck is not where you want it, so you can kind of pull it all together there. So let's do another shuffluffle. Like I said, these cards are thin, but they're very, very sturdy. They're thin but sturdy. I like thin but sturdy. So I like thick but sturdy. I like sturdy. Of course they can. Paranormal, yes. Tarot, all kinds of decks can be used for different things. It depends on what you're working on. I use tarot for divination. I used tarot for dowsing. I use tarot for when I'm stuck and I just need something to give me a focus for the moment. And sometimes it's not even the right focus. It just gives me a focus to move on and do something different for a minute because I've got to make some adjustments. So one of the things I love about tarot, oracle, all of those things is that they're very, very ubiquitous to the need that you have of them. So that's definitely something to look at. I know, right, Paranormal and Cauldron Witch? Thank you. Tell them. Cauldron Witch, you're going to get the first card here. Remembering that black is internal, so these are the messages to yourself, your inner self, and the white would be your composition or energetic self to the outside or to the exterior. Let's see what we get. Let's see what Cauldron Witch gets. Belief. So, actually, you know what? Let me switch to Rook's spot over here because I can be closer to my little camera here. So this is the belief card. So from the Oracle perspective, what I get out of this for you, noticing again that it is white. So this is things that are outside, or what's going outside is in the things that you're doing right now. You have a strong following of people who believe in what you're doing and how you're doing it. That's going to be very important as you go through the next couple of days this week, because some of the maybe clients that you'll be working with, or even non-clients, they're going to listen to everything you say, and they're going to follow what you tell them to do. They're going to have a high belief in you because you're projecting out that belief and that trustworthiness. So just recognize and realize that the things that you do are going to be received very well this week when it comes to believing that we are working through the things that you want to help them work through. One of the things that I find very interesting with, so you can't see it down there, can you? No, it's not gonna. So only when I come up really close. Okay. That's weird. I definitely need a better camera over here, right? So, but anyway, that's kind of the focus there for you, is really making sure that belief, that what you're giving is what people are going to receive, right? So you have a lot of power this week. That would be the external out-pushing message. So whatever you give, know that people are going to run with it. So that gives you a little bit of responsibility too, to make sure that what we give them is valuable and positive and push towards an outcome that's going to be beneficial for them. I think that is very, very good card, very comforting card to have. So belief, exude belief, push that belief out, because people are going to take it. Gives you a lot of power. It makes me nervous. when I have that. Now, if that belief card were black, we would be talking a little bit more about, are you really believing in yourself, or something bothering you internally that you would work on? But it wasn't. It was more of an external, outward push. So hopefully that gives you some guidance for today and for the week coming up. People are going to listen to you. You got a lot of power and responsibility this week, and you're going to see some movement in the people that you work with. I think that's the other thing. People that you are working with are going to make some positive gains. Violet Zombie, if you are in, say hello. Actually, I see you in already. We're going to pull a card for you. My dog is probably going to bark. Violet Zombie, you have planning. Love you too. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. They didn't go nuts. Shocking. Violet Zombie, you've got planning. So planning from an oracle perspective, and also again as a white card, planning is really reminding you that you need to, in order to get anything done this week, you have to plan it first. And this is going to be planning for something that's going to happen further out than where we are right now. So if we're not projecting, so again outwardly planning the things that are happening around us, then they're going to start happening to us. So I get the feeling that you are somebody that doesn't allow things to happen to you. You kind of go out and make them do what they need to do. I'm getting a lot of strength from just the energy of connecting with you in this card, and just in general. So the planning part of it is, yeah, VG, she says something. She says that you need to plan. Honey, she's mad because she's not going with Rook. But anyway, so the message again, like I said, is planning. So when you are doing something, I don't know what it is. That part I can't see. It's something outside. It's something out in the world that you are working on. It's going to require some additional planning to get it where you want it to be, and you just need to make sure that you do push that. So, plan. And it's not, think about it too, when you're talking about Oracle, it's not saying that you're not planning. It's not saying you have to plan to the point where everything is spelled out for the next year. It's saying pay attention to the things that are important to you right now and make sure that you have a plan for those. Dragon Dancer, I have you next on my list. VG is in full agreement. Honey, he's coming back, I promise. He will be back. She does not like being not included. Yeah. Really? Come on, honey. Come here. You're so sweet. I love it when you talk like that. I don't like the bark. No, see? You were doing fine before. She's... Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. She's hilarious. Hey, hush, honey. It's okay. He's coming right back. He will be back. I promise. Yeah, he'll be back. She's a sweet, sweet doggy. Oh, I love her. Dragon Dancer, if you're able to, you are next on my list here. Get a card pull for you. If I stop petting her for even 10 seconds, that's when she starts making the noise again. She wants tensions. She's looking out the window. Oh, that makes me sad. He'll be back, I promise. I promise. Yeah, I know. I love her. She's a sweetie. She is definitely special, that's for sure. Dragon Dancer, let's see what we got. Beauty. All right. I like this. This is a really pretty card, and it doesn't really have much to it. Like, you see this repetition and this, I don't want to say just repetitiveness, but it's symmetrical. And, when we look at and think about this is all external energies today, right? These are all energies we're pushing out. So this is saying really push out the feelings and thoughts that you've been having lately on the things around you that are beautiful, no matter what other people think about them, and push them out, right? So you exude and will be exuding this beauty this week. And that's going to allow other people to also share in that with you, because those are some things that we need a lot more of. So whatever you're doing this week, whether it's actually going somewhere, you've got something planned. You're going to be out of the house a lot. When you're around other people, they're going to see that beauty. You're probably going to have people coming up to you this week that you maybe don't even know or haven't talked to, or that you're just learning with, or maybe even at the grocery store, whatever. But there's going to be new people around you that are going to be engaging you and kind of seeing that external beauty that you're exuding for others to kind of follow. I think one of the most... Oh, you're beautiful too, VG, I swear. One of the most amazing things that we can do sometimes is hold our place and allow ourselves to be, feel, and exude beauty that every single one of us has. And oftentimes we forget that because we are wrapped up in some of the other things that we're doing, or we have life, or yard work, or kids, or whatever is really just pulling apart the things that are going on. And if we stop for a minute, if we stop for a minute and allow that beauty to be pushed out and radiated out, we get a lot more moments of peace, I think. Those peaceful moments come a little bit easier. But I do see some weird things, like with that card. I feel like people are going to be talking to you or coming up to you and getting in your space when you're not like, I don't want you in my space, but they're going to, for some reason anyway. But Doug, I've got you next on the list. Give me a hello in the chat and I will get a card to you. From Composition Oracle. And now I've got hiccups. Doug, you have discipline. And Doug, this is an internal card. I'm getting something different on this though. So right now I feel like you are in a potential feeling of not being in discipline with yourself, or not doing the things that you are saying you want to do. It's kind of like, oh, I have 3 things I really have to do this week and I didn't get any of those done. And then maybe a little bit of beating self up for not getting those things done. That is one method. Or we're over-disciplining on one thing and letting some of the other things go around us that really need to be followed through with or followed up on. So I would look at kind of the things around you. And one of the things that comes to mind often is schedule a priority. Don't prioritize a schedule. So what are the things that are very important to you that you just need to do them and they can get done, and then do those. And hold yourself to that discipline of, even if it's just the 1 or 2 things, instead of trying to spread thin or having a list so long that you don't want to start the list because it's just too stressful. So I've pulled discipline in other decks or other tarots or oracles where the card meaning is also discipline. And almost always it speaks of the same thing. It speaks of either no discipline, where things are falling apart, or too much discipline but only on one thing and allowing other things, maybe the wrong thing actually, and not allowing other things to just happen and occur as they can, because we're so invested in the one thing. So there's a lot to be said for discipline on both sides. Because sometimes, if we're too disciplined, we prevent ourselves from having any type of creative movement. Or we create something that's so rigid that we have very limited experiences. So when we talk through discipline as a matter of not having enough, the same thing can happen, right? You still can find yourself to where things just aren't getting done, and you get into a cycle of why didn't that get done and blah, blah, blah. I do feel like for you it's a little bit more on the other side though. I feel it's a little bit more, I think maybe some hyper focus in one area, or something that maybe just isn't exciting to you, but you're hyper focused on it anyway. And you need to let go of that and move to something else, and then come back to that one thing later, because it's not really a priority. Weird message for that one. That one kind of came through differently than the others. So hopefully that means something to you. That was definitely different in my head. So yeah, that's funny. I like that. So, when I think about discipline, we look at it from a definition, right? Discipline is about being able to stay on task or hold yourself to an accountability that meets, that's for you, that's specific. So yeah, very, very interesting. Paranormal's up next. It feels weird giving single cards readings, but my partner left me. Disappeared. But paranormal witch. I've got an interesting card for you. I've got obstacles in the black. So the first thing that I get is some fear, some self-created obstacles. So I know that you're on a new path and have some new things happening for you, which is awesome. And I feel like that's going to go really well. I don't think this is related to that. I think that these are some obstacles that you have that you feel are kind of weighing you down. And I feel like these are very mundane things. There's something in your general internal life and your processes that is very paused. And you want to unpause them, but you feel like you couldn't unpause them. And they're still going. So they have now turned into obstacles, small obstacles. They're little rocks and blocks that you're going to have to kind of go over or jump through or step around in order to get where you're going. Now, no, you can still get there, right? Obstacles aren't prevention. An obstacle isn't a block. It is just something that's going to require an additional piece of energy to get over. Again, this does not feel work-related at all. This feels like you, home life, a personal project maybe that you're working on, just something that's home or really internal that you have these obstacles with and you're having difficulty moving through and over them. So just know that when an obstacle presents itself to you, that it is not the end or the stop that we can sometimes think that it is. The obstacle is meant to say, hey, here I am, and then for you to respond, hi obstacle, how are you? I'm going to get over you. Just give me a minute to figure it out. So when the obstacle presents itself to you, or when you feel stagnant in a certain area, or if you're not able to get to what it is you want to get to, just take a pause and know that you'll make it around it one way or another. I could have used this card 2 weeks ago when I was stuck in the airport. There were obstacles everywhere, and I let every one of those obstacles beat me to the point where I was so stressed out I couldn't breathe right. And I'm not a stressed, anxious person. So when an obstacle presents itself, simply let it know that you're going to go right through it, above it, around it, and over it, and work it. So this is a really neat card. Hopefully that gives you some meaning and some input. I really like that. Gotta love the house. Our neighborhood is really built up in the last month, and somebody is playing their music so loud that my windows are shaking and the dogs are barking. That's a first since we've lived here, and that does not make me excited. Violet Sky, you are up next. Miss Violet Sky. We got two violets in here. I love, by the way, Rook's favorite color, purple. But Violet Sky, we're going to pull a composition oracle card for you. Oh, this one's pretty, Violet Sky. So your card for this week is happiness. And this is external, right? So we have an external facing or something that will be pushing out. So you may not feel like it. You may not be happy. But your external push of happiness and joy is going to bring a lot of happiness back to you. So this is kind of, again, very similar to beauty. Notice the beauty and happiness card both are repetitive, cyclical, and symmetrical, unlike the other cards, right? So really, we're looking at what are you doing this week to make sure that you're maintaining your happiness. So perhaps in the near or recent past, some things have gotten a little bit tougher, or there's a little, not even tougher, but just I'm feeling a little bit of confusion, a little bit of blockage, like nothing major, just a kind of like a meh feeling. And that's going to continue unless you start pushing out some joy and happiness and saying, you know what, it could be worse. At least I'm able to still stop and smell the flowers or see the palm trees. At least that's what I'm looking at right now at my door. Or whatever it is that makes you happy, and do more of that, because you're going to want to push out happiness around you, because you're going to have an impact on the people around you this week. So really look at that. Happiness is really important. It is a decision. A lot of times we can't make that decision because of things that are happening, but a lot of times we can, even if it's situational. So I would really, really say with this part of happiness, go out and listen to the sounds of nature. As if you can, get away for a minute, get some fresh air, and really make sure that if you're not feeling your best or feeling some joy and happiness for you, then try to find something that does, so that you can push that outwards, because other people are going to be looking at you and seeing, oh, look, things aren't all that great, but she's still able to be happy, and you're going to change somebody else this week, and you're not going to know it. That's the feeling I'm getting. And then last, we have unexpected possibilities. Unexpected possibilities. So very interesting. Your card is motivation, and it's black. Are you feeling a little unmotivated this week or recently? My guess is, if you're not, it's gonna come soon. This looks like a frog to me, by the way. It looks like a abstract frog. I don't know if y'all see that or not. But it's motivation, and when we're looking at motivation in the black, we're looking at the internal motivation, right, for this card. And what is motivating you? What is keeping you going? And is it time to find a new motivation, right? So there are, God knows, unlimited, God, goddess, gods, egads, spirits, all of them, unlimited ways of and means of motivation. And so we're not necessarily saying motivation to get off your ass and do something, or motivation to that, but internally when we talk about motivation, it's what's driving you. It's what are you clear and comfortable right now with what is driving you. Maybe you want to look at some of the things in your life that you want to improve, enhance, build, or grow, especially after the new moon, and really say, what is that motivate factor? I am motivated by stability, or I am motivated by wanting to know more. I'm motivated by needing social interaction. Whatever the motivation is for you, you need to actually ask yourself what that is and then grow that. So do you have motivation? This isn't saying you're a couch potato. This is saying that you have some motivation where you need to actually say it out loud, identify the motivation, and grow it, because now is a good time for you to grow and move that motivation forward. So that is what I'm getting, Mr. Unexplained, from the motivation card for you. So I hope that was meaningful. This is the first time I have ever used this deck. I really like it too. I've seen a couple comments. You guys seem to really enjoy this deck. I did too. First time I've ever used it in this way. It's also the most abstract deck I think I've ever used. But it is very connected. I like the minimalisticness of it. I usually I want a more expressive deck, because I want more images. I'm a visual person, and I want to see those images and those meanings like jump in my face. But this deck did not do that. So, that being said, it gave me some good read, I think. It gave some good energy. I hope it helped you guys. And it was a very inexpensive deck. I think it was $19, maybe, I think, on Amazon. And it's the Composition Oracle. 78 cards. So if you're interested, that is definitely something. And I only got it, I wouldn't say as a gag, but because I knew Rook really likes composition. I'm like, oh, this would be neat. Did not expect it to actually be able to read that well, so I'm gonna keep up with that. So please let me know. I think I got everybody done and under control here. Did I miss anybody? If so, we still have a little bit of time. And yes, Rook abandoned us. I did see that earlier. I just didn't want to make him feel too guilty. You know? I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. So, I will say next week, I don't know if you guys, this is probably too far, but this is the next deck we're going to use. This is a dual deck. It is the Tarot of Light and Shadow by John Matthews and Andre Aste. So, I'm very excited about this one, but something told me to pull the composition one this week. That might become another staple, too. So now I'm up to like 4 main decks. Steampunk Tarot is still my number one. It is, it's like turning on a movie and just watching the movie of what I need to do next. It's always that clear to me. The Wizard's Tarot also always a top-notch deck for me. And then we have the Tarot of the Abyss, huge, big deck for me. I love Tarot of the Abyss. And then the Divine Masculine, which is my shadow deck that I'm using right now. So I might add composition to that. I am 99.9% sure I did, but I might not have, because I've ordered quite a few decks from different places. It might be, I don't think it was Tarot Arts. It might be Etsy. I've ordered a couple off of Etsy. I think it was Etsy, actually. I'm not a huge, honestly, with all the things that have happened with Etsy, not a huge fan. However, they still have a lot of things that you can't find on Amazon. So if it's not Amazon, then it's Etsy. So yeah, it is definitely different. Very, very, very interesting. I rather enjoyed that. So that brings us to a close today. Rook unfortunately missed out on a lot of the discussion, and you know what? That's just his problem, isn't it? I think he should have joined. Yeah, should have stayed a little bit longer. He'd have been fine. He'd have made it. It's just, this is a really good deck. I like that. So, next week, I think what we'll do, just for the record, I think I will still do a little bit more on sigils. Maybe next week we'll do another square. See if I can get my technology working the way I want it. Because I really want to, all of you to be able to see, you know, what I'm seeing. And it's very nice to see and be able to check yourself on that website to see how your sigil works. And then remember, this is just to get started. Once you get comfortable with them, they come a lot easier. And you'll start making them in different ways. So, as always, I really, really hope you all have a great rest of your day today and a great week. I've got a lot of work to do myself and working on trying to be confident and calm and ease my stress. This was one of the most stressful weeks I've had. Travel 2 weeks ago, or last week, and then this week with work, and admitting that I have stress. That's hard for me. So remember, we're all in this together. We're all trying to get to the same place. No matter how much you agree or disagree on something, still try to love your neighbor even if they don't love you. But take no shit. With that, I want, yeah, you can come for service any week. Just let us know so we can make sure we have, well, I don't want to say have food, but that's what we do. Make sure we have drinks and food because we'll probably cook something too. But absolutely, welcome next week for service, Dragon Dancer, or anybody else who's local. Please feel free to come. But thank you again so much, and have a wonderful day. Blessed be, and we will see you throughout the week or next week. So bye-bye. Deuces.